United crash out of another cup competition. This time it's the FA Cup in the third round to Brighton. And man, that Ruben Amorim bounce has not come. So this is a brutal run for Manchester United.
When was the last time we actually got a bounce when we fired our manager? But once again, out of the cup competition, Manchester United drop out in the third round. And against the frisky Brighton side, of course, a team that's had our number multiple times over the last 5 seasons at Old Trafford. That's not a good thing in the first place, but we were hoping for a lift. We were hoping for a continuation of some good play that we saw against a really poor Burnley side under Darren Fletcher. Still waiting for the next interim Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, we think, to be announced as manager. Ineos holding their, sitting on their hands around that. But at the same time, today's performance, not good enough. Slow, was disjointed, lacked an urgency. The defending was poor. I don't even talk about Diogo Dalot's performance. Unbelievable. I think a right back is a priority in the summer. And where do we go from here? It feels like the season's a wrap. Got nothing to play for other than top 4, which is something, but I would have liked a cup competition to run at. Fans are unhappy. Protests are coming. How are we feeling in the ARD pod community?
Look, it's a rough one. It's another season that is a malaise of misery for United fans. And, at the beginning of the year, under Amorim, we said 8th place in the league would be a good finish for United, or probably what we would expect given the incomplete squad we decided to run this season with. The fact we're getting no one in January, the fact we just fired our manager, Fletcher looks out of ideas, Ineos waiting on this interim call. Every decision they're making seems to go sideways. It started with, getting rid of all the backroom staff and the free lunch, into Ashworth, into Amorim, into sacking Amorim, doing both those things mid-season, ruining seasons. We're on our second ruined season. The fans are getting fired up. You can hear it. We just want to see good football. We want to see players fighting for that badge. And we need a proper coach who can get the best out of them. I think another call Ineos is making is going interim with like an Ole or a Carrick. How could you expect more than what you're getting with Fletcher? This is a transition. This is an incomplete squad. They got to get out in front of this. They got to talk to the fans. They got to have a plan. It looks to me like they got numpties at the wheel and they don't have a plan. So protests away with the 1958. I support it 100%.
Absolutely. And it's coming. And like you said, we're already at 7th place. We could be in a lot worse position because the table in the middle of the pack is pretty tight and we can fall off quickly. We have some players coming back. Thankfully, Ahmad and Mbeumo are headed back after crashing out at AFCON. We will need that. We could have used their speed today. But United, everybody looked bad. Mount looked bad. Cunha looked bad. Even Bruno wasn't his best. Don't get me started on the Lenny Euro defending for that second goal. But at the same time, how can you instill confidence in this squad when you have a front office that's not making decisions? Even an obvious one, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, he's available. He's the next guy up. Bring him in. Bring him in. He's ready to go and still taking too long. Everything in this club seems to take too long. It's like we're reactive instead of being proactive.
We got a lot going on this season, but don't forget to back independent fan content. That is the American Red Devils. We love this club. Been doing this for almost 10 years. Season ticket holders in the Stretty. If you're listening on iTunes or Spotify, please subscribe. It goes a long way to help the podcast. And get over to YouTube, subscribe, like, turn bell notifications on. Also, comment below. What do you think the fix is for Manchester United? We need your support, and so does this club. Let's get into the Brighton recap. It's one of those you want to forget. It was Brighton 2-1, another boring home defeat for Manchester United. Did have a little Shea Lacey red card there, but let's get into the starting 11 from Darren Fletcher. Hopefully it is the last game, and Ineos don't drag their feet any longer here. We had Lamens in net, back four, Dogu, Martinez, Euro, Dalot, Mainu, Ugarte, midfield, Cunha, Fernandez, Mount, and Sesko up top. He does switch it. Dogu was playing on the left wing. He brings in Mason Mount, pushes Dogu to left back, and Mainu gets the start in the middle of the field with Ugarte. What'd you make of these changes from Fletch?
I mean, numpty me. I like this 11 when I saw it because it feels like it was the best 11 we can get. Mainu gets a start. He's in the midfield. I probably would have preferred him with Casemiro given his ability to play the ball up the field, which Ugarte doesn't seem to be able to do. Gives Mount a go. I thought, hey, this is an 11 that should be able to take it to a Brighton Hove Albion, maybe play some attacking football at home. Ha, ha, ha. Shame on me. Guess not. Let's get into that game, sir. United not good enough in the first half, disjointed, slow, and having a hard time even playing around Brighton's press. But there were early flurries. We were good for like the first 5 minutes until some chances went wasted. mainly the second minute. Dalot is one-on-one with the goalie, shoots it right at him, and then, that's less egregious. He's not a striker. He's not used to chipping the ball over the goalie, but there was a great chance right after on the counter, and he had an option on his left, he had an option on his right, and instead he does that quintessential 35-yard out, ball over, and it just blasts into the stands. And I think that kind of set the tone for the rest of the day. 12th minute, Brighton, other end of the pitch, from very little. United poor defending, 1-on-1. Here we go in the 12th minute.
I think this one is Ugarte in the midfield.
Adventurous Turkish international today at left back. Danny Welbeck. Good ball in. Cleared off the line the first time, but Gruder scores the second. And for all of Manchester...
Look, it's the free header there. Martinez doesn't sniff it. Ugarte doesn't sniff it. Just both go to the touchline, and that leads to the rebound and free shot. Just sloppy defending from United. This is basic stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of blame to go. I mean, Ugarte let him in, but he was free, just standing there, ball watching once again. How many times have we seen this team ball watching with with an attacker just sitting in space in the pitch? 14th minute. Sen Lamens, a player who's had a very solid start to his Manchester United career with a terrible pass. He actually made a save, and then he was bailed out by his defense. And then, this half kind of lost its steam. There was not much of note for the rest of the half. We didn't have any real cutting edge, couple half chances. But like I said, we looked disjointed. It looks like players didn't know what they were doing a little bit. Bruno didn't have an influence. Mount was nowhere to be found. Cunha was off of it, and it was just a tough watch. So I figured going into the second half, we'd get things together and figure out a way to kind of get the ball moving again. Fletcher would get him inspired, playing the United way. But it was more slow football from United, and I thought things started to change a little bit in the 62nd minute when the subs came. Xerxes and Lacey came on for Mount and Mainu. I wanted to see Casemiro come on a little bit earlier. He came on a little bit later. But then the 64th minute, right after this, sir, player to watch, Danny Welbeck. Shame on us. Ruben Amorim did want him, but he had his moment in the 64th minute with Brighton's second shot on goal.
Gruder. Here is Danny Welbeck. An emphatic finish for a goal against his old club.
Worldy from Welbeck. If you bet that man to score, you're having a good time. All ex-United players have a worldy of a game against United. Heartbreak, 2-0, backbreaker.
Euro has to do better, giving so much space. He's had a tough season, sophomore season at Manchester United, but this is one of the worst he's been involved with at United. But hey, there's a player finding some form. We'll talk about subs. 79th minute, Maguire and Casemiro came on for Ugarte and Martinez. I think we needed Casemiro a little bit earlier, his ability to stretch play, but those legs are going, and they're probably looking forward to that derby around the corner. But Benjamin Sesko, hey, bright spots. We got to find bright spots where we can. This can't all be about misery. In the 85th minute, he got his goal from
Leicester. And the header creeps in. Benjamin Sesko offers a lifeline to Manchester United.
Hey, 3-2 for Sesko, not too shabby.
Not too shabby at all. And that was, the 90th minute, Shea Lacey was sent off for dissent after a second yellow. The first yellow was pretty soft, to be honest. They were a little light on stoppage time.
He was looked like he was going to be in tears with this one, but don't worry, Shea Lacey.
You got it.
You'll be all right. Fletcher gets a yellow. Yelling at the referees, not sure what about. But look, ends the game 2-1, heartbreak for United. The first game in both cup competitions, you get bounced. One under Ruben Amorim, Grimsby in the rain.
That's worse.
Tough look. This one was a tough draw, in all honesty, in the first time we're playing in the FA Cup in the third round. But you're at home. You should do much better. The stat sheet does show a better picture than probably it looked on the eyes. We had 19 shots to Brighton's 9, 7 on target to their 2, and we had 60% of possession. That's something that is a little different than what we saw under Ruben Amorim, where we might have less of the ball or it might be split even. We out XG'd Brighton. Look, it's nothing to write home about. We need a result. This is a cup competition. We're fighting for our lives. United should have been pressing on much better later in the game, but we are getting critical players back from AFCON. We are playing with one arm tied behind our back, so to speak. But let's hear what the interim Darren Fletcher had to say about this.
What's the mood and what's the atmosphere be like in the change room amongst the players after that?
Well, bitterly disappointed because we're at the FA Cup. I think the players see the reaction at the end, and deservedly so. So we're disappointed with the result, and probably disappointed with some moments in the game, especially responding to Brighton's first goal. I think we took too long to respond from that. So the players are down, disappointed, hurt, but they're going to have to pick themselves up and recover because we've got a big game next week.
We saw Omar and Jason here again today. Have you had any conversations after that? And if not, just wonder if whoever comes in, whether that's yourself or someone else, how big of a task is it to lift these players after that?
Well, first of all, I've not had conversations. Just finished the game, doing media, speaking to the players, speaking to the staff. Anytime you come in at Manchester United, it's a massive job. The thing for me is there's still a lot to play for this season. And I think if I look at the players, and we get players back from injury in AFCON, and we get a fuller squad, I think these players have got the ability to qualify in a Champions League place, and that should be their objective.
That is Sir Jim's words right there. Sir Jim, keep me, I believe. I believe that we can get Champions League football. Keep me in this job. Look, 2 games. Thanks for coming out. They put him in charge of this team in the derby, and they don't announce the next guy. Like, come on. We need to be moving on from Fletch. By the way, this was announced initially. You and me weren't thrilled. Carrick came in. Carrick was on the coaching staff, right? Ole coming in. That was done swiftly. Mm-hmm. This has already been 7 days. We need something. Ineos sacks Amram. The issue, you can sack Amram. Feel however you want to feel about that, but you need the plan and the fact that they sack him first and then are trying to scramble and get this plan together while Fletch is coaching, trying to drive this Ferrari, so to speak, that is United, and not doing a great job. Ultimately, there's a lot of things here. I felt like he made too many changes from midweek. You might need to change Casemiro, I get that, but Dogu looked good on the left. Mount came on and looked good as a sub, and he kind of tried to put he's asking the players to do too much because he's self-interested. Again, Amram was self-interested in playing his own system. Fletch is self-interested in succeeding or maybe trying to keep this job, and I feel like you got to get someone who can calm this whole thing down.
Yeah, thanks for coming out. And at this point, like you said, if you're going to fire the manager, I can get behind that decision. I think it was the right decision given how he was talking to the press, given how poor we were in the back 3, et cetera, et cetera. But you have to be ready to go with the next move up, and they weren't. They're dragging it out. They love to drag stuff out. And now I have quite confidence that Monday, tomorrow, they will announce Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as the next interim manager because they want to clear the air after this terrible defeat. I think we would have won this game if 2 of our best attackers were not at AFCON. They are coming back. I'm excited about that, but there's no excuses. You got to do better. I have to agree. Fewer changes would have been the move here, but Fletcher, back to the U18s
I'm surprised we hadn't made the announcement yet.
So am I. I'm shocked.
I'm surprised that they're here's what Ineos does.
They're incompetent.
They don't know what they're doing, and they wiffle waffle. Brailsford's the guy. Brailsford's not the guy.
Remember that guy?
Ashworth's the guy. He's not the guy. Ten Hag's the guy. Not the guy. Amram's the guy. Not the guy. Wilcox is the guy.
Maybe not the guy.
Probably not the guy. How many of those can you do? How fast can you make these indecisions? Like not back anybody. It's kind of getting a little nuts. They're out of their depth. And there is a good part about this, which it exposes that they don't know what they're doing. It's beyond a reasonable doubt at this point, especially with Fletch being the guy. They're like, oh, we like Fletch. He's our guy. Put him out there. And I bet you they're going to go with Carrick instead of Ole.
You think?
Something's going on, right? If it was Ole, they've already met with him. They met with him on Saturday. It should be done and dusted. They're going to make a meal of this. They're going to make a meal of the manager. I just feel like 1958, we were with them at the Arsenal Hove game, protesting Glazers Ineos. The Ineos structure is just another Glazer playbook. It's a billionaire who has thin skin, who's getting too involved in this team, and he has no idea what he's doing. And we got a big match, sir. It's a big one. Man City, Manchester, Derby. Are we ready for this?
I'm ready for it. I'm always ready for a derby, and I think there's a special man you need, Norwegian assassin who had a tendency to get a result against Man City. That's why you got to bring him in. I mean, that manager's going to save us, but it's a big one. City are staying. They're trying to stay in that title race behind a frisky Arsenal. They're spending hand over fist, spending money nobody even cares about anymore. It's unbelievable how the FA and the media have just turned a blind eye to the fact that they just spend like money after money. Players go out, players come in, nobody cares. Did you hear United spent money on someone? So it's a big one. I hate City. I hate their fans. I hate their coach. Hate most of their players, and I'm looking forward to this game, even though it's an early one. But United, it's all about the next match. On to the next one. This is a big one at home. Let's put a little pride on the badge. We got Ahmad and a Boomo. That means
home makes me more worried, honestly.
I'll tell you what. No, there's nothing intimidating about the Etihad to be, So this is a big one. I'm looking forward to it. Any derby.
Looking forward.
We're going to be at this game.
Looking forward to it. It's Saturday, January 17th, 4:30 a.m. Manchester United. Manchester shitty. Manchester is red coming into this one. Man City, they're hungry. 43 points, 6 off the Arsenal. Manchester United in 7th. 32 points.
Hanging on by our fingernails.
Hanging on.
Hanging on.
Absolutely hanging on. I feel like we're going to see daylight between us and that 4th position here soon. It's a tough one. Anytime you fire your manager and you got Darren Fletcher at the wheel going into a derby, you're nervous. But again, this team has pulled rabbits out of the hat. And let's get into the weather. What do we got?
It's going to be ugly. Mid-40s and wet, ugly English weather. Maybe they actually favor United. Slow down that City attack a little bit. Let's talk about City, sir. Oh, yeah. Manchester City, a.k.a. 115 charges FC. They're a sports. I give you the buttoned up Wikipedia version. I give you the straight talk America Red Devil version. Sport washing project, 115 charges, 0 shame. Every trophy comes with an asterisk. And nobody on Sky wants to mention they've treated FFP like a suggestion in the transfer market, like Football Manager, on unlimited budgets, basically for the last decade, and they just keep spending. Semenyo, what a player. He already scored in his debut. Could have used a player like him. It's an elite team, but the aura is definitely fading.
Is it elite? I don't think so. Ultimately, it's like a carcass of a team
of course
that...
elite.
Look who's out there. Pep. Sports doping, Barcelona. Look up the charges. It's pretty clear to everybody, what was going on in Italy, and then ultimately Spain when he did and succeeded at Barcelona. Look, it was a great team. He had arguably one of the best players ever, but you have to look up the doping scandal. Pep is a seedy guy. No surprise he'd come to a seedy club, and they used a lot of money. They inflated their sponsorship revenue. You can look up the emails. They are public. They were leaked through not official channels, and that there's a lot of controversy around how these emails got leaked, but it was literally like emailing the UAE being like, yeah, we're going to need an extra 50 million. And they're like, yeah, just make the sponsorship revenue this. They literally marked up fake revenue to be able to buy players and circumvent FFP. We've seen a lot of other teams get charged for much less. I hope that they will get got. I hope that they'll get relegated. It's no surprise that Pep's strong rumors are that he's leaving at the end of the year. And as far as the FFP charges, we heard a lot about maybe them dropping during the international breaks earlier this year. The press were actually put on alert that these would be coming. They have not. There's also the issue with the UAE actually reaching out formally diplomatically around this issue. I think there's a lot of, impropriety going on. If they come out like squeaky clean and don't get anything, you're going to know it. Most likely it's going to be a convoluted ruling where City will stand defiant, and then ultimately the penalty will be up to the league. It's going to be a tough one. If nothing happens, I feel like the Premier League is just going to look really bad. I hope that I think the fairest thing to do is you don't strip them of the titles, you just relegate them. You relegate them and move on. Hopefully that happens at the end of the year, and we'll see. But there's been no talk about this. It's very bizarre how long this has taken, but it obviously is a big deal and will impact Man City. And they were a cheating club, match fixing scandal around the turn of the 20th century. You can look that up as well. Sir, they're always in it. They're cheaters. That's what they are.
And this will be a real stain on the reputation and the future progress and potential of the Premier League. If you think about it, it's like they are actively cheating today. Today, their revenue is inflated with like sponsorship revenue that doesn't even exist, and nobody cares. They're like the highest earning club in the world. Oh, really? Like second to only Real Madrid? Sure. Have you gone to the games? They're half empty. Nobody's there. Nobody gives a shit. If you were to sell this team to a non-Abu Dhabi holding, basically non-sovereign owner, like half of their revenue would just disappear overnight. So anyway, same old script. Nobody seems to care. Talking about Pep, man on the edge. I'm glad you bagged him for the alleged doping at Barcelona. All you have to do is this: as a true United fan, if you could enjoy the misery of the 2011 Champions League final at Wembley in the 88th minute, they had our number, but they were running around like it was the second minute of the game. Like it just doesn't add up. And I think if you look behind the curtain, eventually it will come out. So anyway, we're hearing that it's his last year. Every press conference has a whiff of one last masterpiece before I disappear to New York or a sabbatical. Who knows what's going to happen next? Tactics, what do we know about City? Same old script: slow, suffocating possession, box midfield, and recycling of the ball basically until somebody switches off, and then they run. They slip a runner in behind, usually a chip back. They love the chip back to Erling Haaland, hell of a player.
Giant Norwegian.
It's such a boring team to watch. I mean, they dominate, but they're not fun to watch even in a way that Barcelona was more fun to watch back in the day. They kind of enjoy this football. For United, it's all about choking off that deadly compact block, ruthless first pass out. So sit narrow, try and hold off the midfield and funnel wide and try and hit him on the break. I mean, that's what it's going to be about. I'm excited that we have Mbeumo and Ahmad back. They're fit, right? They both featured. They both did pretty well, especially Ahmad. In AFCON, they should be slotting right into that starting 11, even though we're going to back four. So that means no more right wing back for Mr. Ahmad Diallo.
You got Fletch picking it.
No, Ole's coming in. Ole's coming in this week. That should have been done. By the way, that should have been done already, so he could have
the betting market.
He could have a match to get his legs going before the Brighton game should have been the tune-up match, and instead he's getting thrown. Whoever it is,
it's a bad call. But here's the deal.
Ineos, a bunch of chumps.
It's a bad call. No matter what, I would rather have Amram stick his neck out in these City Arsenal games, take the bad blood, and then try to give an Interim some easy games. But they had no plan, and that's how they're operating, and that's how they have operated it for a long time. As far as our record versus Manchester City, we've won 80, drawn 54, and lost 63. Our last 5, we've won 2, lost 2, and drawn 1. Earlier this year, they thumped us 3-0. Thanks for that one. Ruben Amram, player to watch. Erling Haaland, 6'5", 192, sir. He's 3 inches to the good, and I weigh the same.
The thing is, he is a specimen. He's a freak. He's probably going to go down as one of the greatest, pure play number 9 finishers in the game.
Should have been ours if City signed Harry Kane. Haaland would have.
No, we should have signed him at £3 million. But not Ineos, the chumps before Ineos. John Murtaugh and the Glazers say we didn't rate him.
No,
they got the time zone. They got the time zones wrong.
Ole hooked us up with Erling Haaland for $3 million, and Murtaugh missed the call.
He looked pretty good.
Sporting director who didn't deserve to be there. Wilcox is probably the next sporting director that doesn't need to be there. Results coming in this game: beat Brentford 2-0, beat City, beat West Ham 3-0. They beat Forest 2-1. Drew Sunderland. This was a little surprise. Drew Chelsea. Drew Brighton. And then they just beat Exeter City 10-1.
They always get those draws. They always get like the League 2 draws. We never get Exeter City, do we?
They're going to play Newcastle midweek in the semifinal of the EFL Cup. What is that? Never heard of it, sir. So long ago we were in that comp. And then they're going to come and play us and probably look fresher than Manchester United. But let's see what Fletch and co. can come up with. Their lineup, you should be afraid of it. It's pretty good. Donnarumma, another good goalie. He's come in and done a good job. Foden, Reinders, Haaland, Doku, Ake, Silva,
Semenyo just signed.
Nunes.
Jeez.
I mean, and obviously Semenyo scoring on his debut against Exeter. But
Rodri. They got remember that guy Rodri? He's pretty good.
Yep.
I could use him. We could use a Rodri, but when
they
you have
been
this cash.
They have been struggling. They have some injuries. Stones is out. Guardiola is out. Diaz is out. So a few key players for them. Manchester United will hopefully get Ahmad and Mbeumo back. It hasn't been confirmed yet, but let's talk about the lineup for City. Today we saw Lamens, Dogu, Martinez, Euro, Dalot, Manu, Ugarte, Cunha, Fernandez, Mount, Sesko. You got to bring in... We have too many cooks in the kitchen. So
Yep.
for me, it's the front four.
Yep.
Sesko is 3 and 2. You got to start him. Mount has to go to the bench. Bruno has to start. I'm going to drop Cunha. I'm going to put Mbuma on the left and Ahmad on the right. Cunha probably should have been dropped for this Brighton game. Ultimately, I feel like he's a great player, but he is struggling. He has struggled during a time where he should have stepped up to be the man when Mbuma left, and we got to make way for the big dogs.
No, I would have loved to have him grab this squad, make his mark, because has struggled since he joined the club, especially with the other two creative, AFCON players who have been a huge miss. They are both coming in. They're, like you said, Mount's got to go, Cunha's got to go. You pop in Ahmad, you pop in Mbuma. I don't know what you do the defense. Do you keep in Mainu and you play him with Casemiro, or do you do double CDM to kind of give yourself a chance in the midfield?
You have a week off.
I also want to drop the low.
I
drop the low and maybe push Dogo to the right and play Shaw on the left. Euro's got to get hooked.
Heaven's coming in and Euro's hooked. Really, really sad to see.
A lot of choices to make, though, for the interim, whoever is coming up next.
No, Cass Ugarte and then Mainu coming in when Cass's legs go. I mean, that's probably the best thing for Manchester United in this big of a game. Let's look at the odds. What do we got?
United are the underdogs. Plus 260 for United at home, plus 300 for the draw, and minus 125. Minus 125 for Man City on the road against their bitter rival, Manchester United, the greatest football club in the world. The fans think
it's a loss.
Due for a loss. Not many folks calling a win.
Eating crumb.
I'm up first. I'm calling a loss. 4-1. I think it's going to be an ugly start to the interim's career at United, or
4-1.
Second one, but let's see what happens. What do you think, sir?
2-2. We're going to do something, and we're at home. We got to show backbone. Let's get a tie. Come on, United. Sir, moving on. It's United in the news. We're going to be talking about Sir Jim, the 1958, the big protest coming up. And this is a big topic for Manchester United fans because we were with the 1958 in solidarity, tweeting them and meeting up with them before the Arsenal protest. If you like to see that, we have a match day vlog on our YouTube channel. You can get over there. Don't forget to like and subscribe, hit notifications on, and we videotaped the entire protest with the 1958, which is great because all of our Glazers Out scarves were there. There's also the Avram Glazer caricature that I designed that's on a bunch of flags. It's in the protest. We filmed that in the video. It's great. Such a great group of fans. And so the ARD, we are always committed to going, out, boots on the ground. So we're in the Stretty, which is the hardest core of the hardcore fans. That's where our season tickets are. That's where they've been now for almost 7 years. We've been supporting this club for almost 30 years. Every year we are out there, sometimes more than once, even during the tough times. And when we go to the Arsenal game, we're with the hardcore. When we go away, we're with the hardcore away support. And we know that at that Arsenal game, watching on the TV, you're like, hey, Ineos ain't bad, but the Glazers are good. No. At the protest, Sir Jim and Avram Glazer are like right there. They don't like them both, and they're both issues, and they've been issues since last year. I feel like that doesn't come through the television screen, but Sir Jim, per the 1958 and the hardcore United support, has always been looped in with the Glazers because he's the one who gave them a lifeline, and what the hardcore fans support at the ARD want is full ownership change, clearing of the debt. That's the only thing that we're going to be able to, that's the only way we'll be able to get to the promised land, because Sir Jim came in, made horrible decisions, but the club saddled with debt, and so our hands have always been tied. Backing Amram, hands tied. Getting rid of Ten Hag, hands tied. So it's always been it's been an uphill battle for Ineos, but they have made the worst decisions you can imagine. And mainly it's because of this man, Sir Jim. Number one reason being, you hire Dan Ashworth, you literally give him the keys, you give him the budget, and you give him 5 years, and you evaluate him on that timeline. Any NFL club who brings in a GM, he's getting 4 years to build the team, and you can only evaluate him at the end of 4 years. Sir Jim said 4 months, see you later. And by the way, paid him $4 million for that 4 months.
And any goodwill, like you said, the Glazers ruined this club in the first place.
Yep.
The debt and the mismanagement and et cetera, et cetera. But Ratcliffe, he had a little bit of goodwill, and he blew it very quickly with the decisions he made. Also, the cost-cutting, the austerity things he did, that pissed off so many fans. But at the same time, petty, yeah, like little, like saving $5,000 and like sending out, like footballers with Alzheimer's, like they don't get free meals anymore.
But then using that money to go spend $20 million to fire Ten Hag, spend
because he didn't want to go.
Ashworth
Because he didn't want to go
Ashworth.
low as slow. Ashworth low wins. We're broke. We should be able to spend way more money. If you look at our rivals, they're spending way more money than us because we have debt, we got dividends, and we have a club that's not willing to like put on the front foot and willing to take investment. Jim Ratcliffe, he is too involved. The more feedback you hear about Jim Ratcliffe is that he's a micromanager. He's like that nightmare boss that nobody wants to have. He's involved in every decision making. He's never had a successful enterprise as it relates to sporting at all. Ineos cycling has not gone that well. Had a couple early good years, but like if you look at Nice, that's been a disaster. If you look at Manchester United for the last 2 years, that's been a disaster. And I think it's his ego. Like the interview he did a year ago, what was
he
that?
also wanted to buy
with
Chelsea
Gary Neville.
first.
Yeah, of course, because he's an ego guy. He wants to be in London. He wants like
No, because he has Chelsea season ticket. He's in London. He says he's a big United fan. Look, either way, the interviews he gives, they don't make any sense. He said United's going to run out of money and then went out and spent $200 million this past summer. It's very rash. It's all over the place. I said when they come in, they are going to make mistakes, but you got to learn from them. And they are just stepping on rakes. They're not learning fast enough. I knew we were in trouble. There's 2 points in time I knew we were in trouble. Ten Hag wins the FA Cup, and whatever that 2 to 3 weeks after he won the FA Cup, when they briefed press,
It's like this again.
They briefed press he was going to be fired. Then the final happened. Then they didn't fire him. Then they went and talked to all these other managers. Like, you got to make a call, dude. Monday morning, he's gone. Then talk to people or whatever. Or you had 5 months of watching horrible football. You thought you'd have the next guy ready to go, but they didn't. What are they doing? Like, what are you doing? I would literally have had the manager. Ten Hag you watched it all. You watched Coventry. You watched horrible league form. It was not going well. He somehow wins the FA Cup. Thanks for coming out. I watched 5 months of that. It's not good enough. And oh, by the way, we have done a lot of work in that time. And here's the guy we're going to go with. And then here's the director of football. And then we're going to stick with these 2 guys. And instead, they ruined the season because they kept Ten Hag, then made Amram take the job mid-season. And then they probably should have made a pretty tough call getting rid of Amram after the final. They decided not to do that. And they kept him and then ruined this season. You can't ruin 2 seasons back-to-back. Like, that is bad ownership. That's bad decision-making. They're just making the same mistakes over and over. And then the second way I knew that they weren't real was getting rid of Ashworth. Because then that means, okay, you're not going to let a guy actually run the footballing operations. You're going to run the footballing operations. So it's actually Barada and Wilcox. Those are 2 yes men who are just doing whatever this guy wants, which is basically why Amram was fired with no plan B or anything, because they don't do anything without Sir Jim's approval. Scary times to be a United fan. This is Glazers 2.0. It's called Glinios. It's Glinios out. We support the green and gold. We got the green and gold scarves at the American Devil store.
Pick one up.
AmericanDevils.store. Pick one up. We always wear them. I wear it to every single match because we need to get them out. And Ineos gave him a lifeline. And now the Glazers are probably going to be like, look, man, this isn't going well. Glazers still own the club. There's no agreement of him being able to make all these calls. So Glazers are probably going to take back control from him eventually.
Because they will have the rights within that contract that we've heard that basically at a certain point, I think after 2 or 3 years, they get to start making the
I don't think it's written down anywhere. I think it's literally a handshake deal.
Maybe it could be from an operating perspective, maybe. But at the end of the day, it's like, how could you watch last season us finishing in 15th place, lowest league finish in 50 years? And that final, that Europa League final, was so winnable. We lost against somehow you lost against a team that was worse than us in the EPL. We cut down an extra defender. You don't have a backup plan if you have to fire your manager. We fired our manager a week ago. They still haven't brought in a new guy. It's unbelievable, and it's because Sir Jim is too involved in everything. He had a chance. It was always an outside chance. It was tough because we didn't have enough cash. There's the debt. It hasn't been cleared, et cetera, et cetera. But he shot himself in the foot by the decisions you made, but those decisions were made because he's involved. A 73-year-old oil executive should not be making the decisions. Give Barada and Wilcox a chance. They have no chance because this guy is just yucking. Hey, you should play it back. He was calling Ruben Amram. You should play back 4. What do you know about football, brother? Nothing.
He was way too. You could tell in the interview he gave last year. He's also said he was going to back Amram for 3 years. These guys at this point, they got so much mud on their face. There's nowhere to hide, and they're all going to get fired. Like, it's going to be everyone below Jim is going to get fired.
Yep.
And you're going to be like, oh, so maybe Jim's the issue.
He needs to get fired.
It's going to be an issue. We've heard there were some rumblings about the Middle East, some deal. The problem is they don't have the money for the stadium. That's also another egg on the face moment. Is
Yeah,
you
where's
did this
that going?
big stadium reveal, and like, there's no money for that. Newsflash, there's no money for that. You're not getting that. It doesn't make any sense. So he literally just made some guy design a stadium just so he could try to raise the money. But the club is broke. They're broke because of the Glazers. If you read the 1958 tweet, the Glazers, dysfunctional, inept ownership. Ineos Ratcliffe, dysfunctional, inept partnership. And they have inept executives in Brada Wilcox, which are starting to look like clown show execs, similar to the likes of Murtaugh, Arnold, and, you know, the good old Eddie Woodward. It's unfortunate that we're not able to actually get the figures in place. And this is really where we thought Ineos would exceed the Glazers, you know, choice of executives, but it's looking pretty bad. Protests, you can see the gym can't fix this.
Which is great.
We want the club back. And you knew when he was like not giving people sandwiches.
Like
The writing
small
was on
ball
the
money.
wall.
Yeah,
The writing was on the wall. So the American Red Devils, we stand with the 1958. It's been a tough time for United. And that's why ultimately we have to adjust our expectations for this football club during this time. It's an interim situation. We just try to get some results. We're going to finish mid-table out of Europe, and it's all about on to the summer. Hopefully there's some cash infusion from the Middle East. Sir Jim decides to take a step back. We get a real director of football. For me, you could yell at Fletcher, you can yell at Ole, you can yell about the next manager, but it really comes down to who's going to be the director of football. It's Wilcox. Is clearly not the guy. You need to get a real guy in. Look at Arsenal. Look at City. Ex-Barcelona. I think ex-Atletico Madrid. DOF. So we need a real director of football, and then we can fight from there. But right now, we're really sort of in this laughing stock phase. It's rough.
I mean, even Sir Jim really is an interim owner, you know, because like he never really
great
had
point.
he really never had the cash to go all the way. He's a rich guy, but he's not rich enough to throw down $4 or $5 billion in cash, buy the club out, put money in the stadium. This club needs $1 billion. We got to start spending like Arsenal or City or Liverpool. Like they're spending big money on big wages, and we are not that. We've fallen off. We're 4th or 5th in that regard. And it's just a matter. It's basically just like hang in there until then. Try and find the moments that you can. John and I are headed over soon. We were going to be going to the Derby. Now we're going to the Arsenal away game. Looking forward to that. But it's really like he ain't going to fix it.
So we're soldiers going to a
He
losing
ain't going to
fight,
fix
baby.
it. And we're going like, come on, rolling.
Boat, baby. I
can't wait.
Soldiers going
I
to a
can't
losing
wait.
fight.
Let's
We
go.
know that the casualties are high, but we're going. We're strong fighting men, sir. We're going to deploy
Going
out
back down for a minute.
overseas. We're ready to go. We're ready to go fight in the Arsenal away end. It's going to be great. Nothing like the away support in Manchester United that just reinvigorates you, because no matter what, no matter how bad, no matter how tough the times, the away support is always backing the lads, and we are always proud to be in the thick of it, sir, in the thick of it with the top American Red Devils and Manchester United fans throughout the world. It's great.
I mean, even United is a laughing stock. There's no other club I'd be. I love this club so much.
Love it.
It's the only thing I love outside my family and the friends that are like family. It's like this club means so much to me. We will be back. It will not be under Sir Jim. It will not be under the Glazers. But one day we will return to the promised land, and we'll be there with you.
Next bit of news, we got the latest on the interim manager. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did hold talks with the club on Saturday. I thought we'd swiftly get an announcement, maybe pre-match. We did not. It's like, Ole, he's a known quantity. You don't have to do a lot of diligence there. He's the only guy, if you look at the 2-horse race that it has become, is between him and Michael Carrick. Ole has actually done the job for years. Carrick did it for 3 matches, I believe, and then he managed Middlesbrough in the championship. He won championship manager of the month once.
Of the month,
and then was
once.
sacked by Middlesbrough. So the idea of not going to Ole versus Carrick, it's very bizarre. Galatasaray didn't go well for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, but they're really, if you're going to go down the path, which we debated last week, which was like, hey, maybe you just get an Areola permanent manager, which I almost prefer the permanent manager situation. Like I said, it's not the NFL. You don't have to install an offense. It's not like this complicated playbook. You need someone who knows what they're doing. Get them in now. To go to an interim, then you're like, okay, who's the best that could do it? It's clearly Ole, given the experience, and he wants it.
They both
Once
want
you
it. They all
don't
want
make
it.
that call, then you're in. It's like saying Fletcher could do the job,
You can't.
right? Fletcher's even less experienced than Carrick, but I just feel like this is a no. Once you're down this path, there's only one decision here, and they're even bottling this one.
Just do it. Just do it. I agree with you. Like, even, I hate to say this, even the Glazers would have moved faster than Ineos are moving at the moment. They would have announced it midweek. He would have been in the stands for the game today. Like, hey, there's Ole. There's Ole. Like, clap him up. No, like, throw red meat. Like, hey, I'm a Muppet.
Smoke and mirrors.
I eat meat all day.
Don't worry about this.
No, exactly. Like, don't worry about it. That's how you do it. You buy. Basically, it's like a hedge in advance of the game, even before you lose. You're like, well, Ole's coming. He's gonna right the ship. And instead, they're like, what are we doing? And what are they gonna do? Michael Carrick, hell of a player. I really enjoyed him as a player, but he's not the guy to be the interim. Solskjaer, you can make your arguments against him, but he's the only one of the list. And then the fact that they're including Ruud, who had like a really bad run in at Leicester, it's got to be Ole. He finished second. He won 50% of his games against City.
Experience 3 games.
No, that's a weekend. That's nothing. Come on. This is absurd. Just get it done. It should have been done by now. I'm supportive of the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer move. I can also see the Areola, like, get a real manager, but that costs more. And that's why they're not doing that, because they're cheap and good.
The whole idea is once you're down this path, there is only one person that can realistically do it. If you're trying to convince yourself it's Carrick,
you're nuts.
How could you convince that Carrick has an edge when he got sacked by Middlesbrough and like literally has been unemployed since then? Ole was sacked, but he did the job for almost 3 years.
With Besiktas, he did okay in Turkey.
No, but he did this job for almost 3 years.
Finished second.
He knows it, and that's just what you need. You need that right now. But apparently, there's concerns around the backroom staff. If you look at Poly Market, the Carrick odds are skyrocketing right now. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has collapsed to 12%. While we were doing this podcast, Ole was at 28. Yeah. Now Carrick is just vaulting up to 25%. He's odds on to be the next guy right now per the betting markets. Usually inside info's like running this. Like, for Ole to collapse like that, you have to think something is happening behind the scenes. People are working on socials or an announcement most likely for tomorrow. This is not like, I'm backing Carrick all the way, but to see Ineos bottle this decision for me is, I can't understand how Carrick, who did 3 games at a Premier League club as a manager, as a caretaker manager, could do a better job than Ole, who got this team in 2nd place in the league.
Also,
how is that?
Remember the mood.
And money's not an issue.
Ole said he would do it for free. He said he would do it for you know what? I guarantee Ole, Ruud, Carrick, they'd all do it for free, because guess what? It's the biggest job in the world. They'd all want it. It's all step up. They're all failing up. But at the end of the day, the mood at Manchester United has gone bad. It's gone rotten. They're protesting the games. We have protests coming down the chute, and the fact that they can't see, maybe they weren't paying attention during the last time Ole's at the wheel. But Ole cleared the air. Jose made the place toxic. Ruben made the place toxic. You get rid of the Portuguesa, and you bring in Smiley Ole. And instead, it's like, what are they doing? Now, we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. It could all change. These are just odd makers. But the fact that they have dragged this out this long is insane, because even if things don't go that great, we still finish 7th. Ole provides air cover for them. And I think they're numpties. I think it's Jim just being like, he's a doofus. He's an old doofus.
It
and he has no business running the show.
It doesn't make a lot of sense here.
I wish we could have Ernest Mangel back. Absolute killer.
Ole managed 168 matches for this team, 54% win rate. Carrick managed 3. He managed 3. And you can look at his Middlesbrough run. If you go down here, you can see that he was sacked. He finished 10th place in the championship. He got the semifinals. He did have a big win in the EFL Cup, but he got to the semifinals of the match, trying to come back into the championship.
And that's different. That's a whole different ball game championship. Like, he's done it in the EPL against this manager.
4th place finish with Middlesbrough. They lost in the playoff semifinals to Coventry. It's not there. What are you thinking? It doesn't make any sense. Middlesbrough, 46% win rate in the championship. 46% win rate in the championship, 136 games. How could you make the call that, like,
I think they'll get the Ole. They have to, right? Come on. Unless the Poly Market does something we don't, which they might. We've seen that before.
But you're making once again, I'm trying to say, you're firing Ten Hag after the FA Cup. You're making an easy decision hard. They made that one very hard. Took 3 weeks. This is an easy decision. They're making it hard. This is what they do. This is the habit that they do. This is killing the club. Ineos out now, looking at permanent manager, stalling interim manager in the summer. It's going to give United time, and they're interested in top managers. Thomas Tuchel's been floated. Ancelotti's been floated. This is the right direction, but you can't tell me that the manager can't make calls around the squad, and then all of a sudden you're going to hire a guy who wants complete control of the squad. Another weird pivot here. They're pivoting away from the director of football structure because Ancelotti is going to make the call. Tuchel's going to make the call. So you're kind of going back to that Erik ten Hag style versus the Ruben Amorim and then the DOF structure. So again, whiffling on this.
But even then, these two managers are used to having elite DOFs above them. You know, they'll have a big say. They want to have an overarching say, and even, dare I say, a veto right around appointments. But like, they're not going to come in if it's like the Sir Jim show, because Sir Jim doesn't know what he's doing. He's made that abundantly clear. And at the same time, this is how you can justify putting in an Ole. I'm not getting there on character, but putting in an interim for the end of the season and not going for an Areola or a Glasner or somebody else in the league that you could get just as a matter of money. You pay some club £20 million, you can get them, and then you actually pay them because you want to go for a big fish in the summer. I don't want Poch. These two, I mean, I love Ancelotti, but like, I think Ancelotti cheekily said to Ole, "I'd never take your job because the heat's too hot." But every manager, I think, especially Tuchel, like, I think they'd love to be United. Like, who wouldn't want to be United manager? Nagelsmann as well. Like,
I like
another
Ancelotti,
one.
no drama. Tuchel is a little drama.
No, he's too.
A little drama.
He
guy.
goes.
I like Tuchel, but like
he's
team's
like the
not
German.
ready for
He's
Tuchel.
like the German Jose. He would just like he would go sour milk.
No, but there's nothing on the bone for a Tuchel to chew on. You know, I think you need the Eddie Howe until you get a good team.
You could use
then
Eddie
you
Howe.
give it
Eddie
Tuchel.
Howe would be smart.
You need
honestly.
Eddie Howe to get a good team and eat a bunch of crow, and then you give it to an Ancelotti or a Tuchel. We're just not there yet, as we're seeing with these performances. January transfer window update. Newsflash, nothing's happening.
No update. Their update is there is no update.
Another insane call from Ineos. You look in the summer and you say, hey, what does this team need? You and me said CDM. Ugarte, you signed him, no good. You got to go again. And they went with two attackers who they can barely fit on the field at the same time. Both good signings. Not going to say it, but running it back, I'd probably go Mbumo plus a CDM. We went Mbumo Cunha, that fixed our attack. But there's a gaping hole. You can't run a whole season, 40 games with an incomplete squad. We're seeing that right now. It's going to get managers fired. It's going to have bad results. It's going to keep you out of Europe. For some reason, Sir Jim, looking at this midfield with Manu, Ugarte, and Casemiro, thinks it's good enough to get Champions League football. Newsflash. Look at the midfields that are at the top of the table, sir. They're pretty good. They're young. They're fast. And they work like crazy, and United's doesn't. So we need to fix that. And the fact that we know that we tried this season, it has failed, and then we are not fixing it in January when there are options available. Insane.
Because even last January, we made some moves. I mean, they were not the moves we wanted. We needed attackers, and they signed a left back and a center back, both of which I think are very good talents. Good deals, you know, from a price perspective, and upside heaven's going to be like a great deal. And I think Dogu really
where's
is.
a heaven midfielder? You know,
like
like
exactly,
our
like
Dogu
a cheeky,
midfielder.
like £20 million, like have a go from
20-year-old,
Lecce, like some
run all
hard-working, like find me Dogu in CDM.
Yes.
Just like a
30
absolute
million.
tank that can run all day. And you know what? He's rough around the edges. He'll make mistakes, but he's going to get there in a couple of years. Like, have a go, lad. I'd also use a right back. I think Dalot
or
is no
Sekou
good.
Kone has to come up. But he's
Sekou
not.
Kone's going. He went to that club that we like co-own in Switzerland. You
No,
know,
but
he-
that's the idea is you need to get these youngsters on the bench when you have holes, or you need to sign players to fill these holes. You can't just have holes. That's just not an elite. That's
We've
not what
had that
United
forever.
is.
United's been like that always. It's always like next summer we'll take care of this center back. Next summer we'll take care of the striker. Next summer we'll take care of CDM. Half measures. Other clubs are spending $400 million in a summer. It's like, hate to say it, we got to spend more.
Jumping into fan questions at Dan with 3D. Sirs, I'm sorry. I know all the negatives you've been hammering home about Ruben, but he was the last problem at this club. He was trying to call it out and change the culture. The results weren't there yet, but I believe he would have changed us over time. Open heart surgery, Ralph Rangnick. Look, the fact that United aren't playing well and that we have an incomplete team, I don't know if it makes Ruben Amorim's tenure of a 38% win rate somehow like vindicated. I know there's this whole feeling of that going on the internet. For me, Ruben wasn't backed. He was set up to fail because Ineos didn't sign the players in his system, and he behaved like my toddlers do on the way out. Is he wrong? Is Ruben Amram wrong? No. Was he set up to fail? Yes. Was he the man for the job? I think it's fair to say he wasn't, and it sucked. It was a tough tenure. Look at that final. What is he going to build on with that final when Manchester United are down a goal and he doesn't take a defender off and put an attacker on? There's no excuse for that at Manchester United. If you watch this club for a long time, I know people like Ruben Amram. He's charismatic. He did kind of say F the ownership, which as fans, we can respect it. So did Ralph Rangnick, but it didn't move the club any further. And look at him smiling around. That's not Manchester United DNA.
Pisses me off.
That's not Manchester United DNA. So he had some right points that he made, but he waffled about a lot of things, and he wasn't flexible. So the idea of, I think United are just not a good team. And is it 100% Ruben to blame? No, but was he getting the best out of what he had? Definitely not. I think it's fair to say.
Is he the number one problem in Manchester United? Was he the number one problem in Manchester United? Absolutely not. That's the ownership. That's the debt. That's the Glazers. That's Sir Jim. But he was a problem.
Yes.
He should never have been hired in the first place, given the fact that we needed to turn the squad over to play this formation. The formation made no sense either for a top-tier English Premier League side. This is not Crystal Palace. We're not Wolves trying to stay up. It's we are attacking, attack. Manchester United the way, possess everything. It's that is never the way to do it. He should never have been hired. They should have fired him after the final. And then the way he acted was just completely inappropriate. Jose, I think that was inappropriate, but he had more hand because multi-Champions League winner. This guy's won nothing. Nowhere. He won the Portuguese league. Gyökeres scored 50 goals in the Portuguese league. And how's he doing now? Jeans.
Yeah, there's this whole thing that's made up, which is everything's pro Amram or anti Amram. It's no, I'm anti 38% win rate in shit football, and that's what we ate for a year.
Europa League final.
No, we ate 38% win rate in shit football for a year. Ten Hag was at 53% win rate. By the way, that wasn't good enough.
No,
it wasn't good enough. It was
all
53.
hated that too.
By the way, 53% win rate. And shit football.
2 cups.
That wasn't good enough.
Cups.
So guess what? 38% win rate ain't good enough. So I'm trying to get United to top 4 every single year and seriously contend for silverware. And if a manager can't show up in a final, he probably ain't the guy. That's probably Ole's ceiling as well. Love Ole. Look, I like Ole, but it was his ceiling. He didn't win the Europa League, and then he ended up getting got. And Amram didn't win the Europa League, and he didn't get got. So it's a results-based business. And when you have a final against 17th place Spurs, they're all injured. They got nobody, and you got no plan B, and it looks like it's too much for you. It is too much for you. So those are my gripes against Amram. This team is screwed without him or anybody else. We're screwed. So it's you're right to say he's not the number one guy, not the number one issue. Glazers have always been green and gold. The club is sold. At M. Hersey, definition of apathy: a lack of interest, and motivation, enthusiasm, or emotional connection. Feeling like you don't care about things usually considered important or exciting. Often described as numbness or emptiness. Manchester United summed up. I think,
It's hard to be. I was really geared up for this game. I was all excited. I had my kid on, and they started playing. And Dalot.
I care.
Of course, I care. I love this team so much.
But
start watching them. It's hard to watch.
To Dan's point,
Open heart surgery.
Players have always been a problem.
They have,
and the inability to move players on with these crazy contracts has always been a problem. So yeah, when Amram came in, he's fighting all these bluffers and Anthony Rashford and Sancho, and so United has been this quagmire of all these issues. But the right man will eat the crow. Eddie Howe will eat the crow to get us back. That's what we need.
Go get him. He's probably the guy.
Amram needs Chelsea, right? He needs that type of environment. Manchester United needs someone who's going to eat shit, smile, and get us back to the promised land.
That's not Tuchel either. I hate to say it.
No, it's not. And it's not Ancelotti.
No, it's not. It's a middle.
Who's going to come in and just not flip out like Amram and kind of try to manage this situation to get us to the promised land? At Grifter, what do these players do in training? I swear every game it looks like they just met in the parking lot. Nothing will change until the owners sell the team, and that won't happen until United stops making money. Stop going to games and buying the merch. Look, I can't get her.
They'll never stop making money. That's the thing.
The merch for me is $300 jerseys. Really? That's Ineos's. By the way,
the jerseys.
$300 jerseys now? What is that?
$300?
$300?
$300? And they fall apart, by the way. I got the third kit last year. It's falling apart.
No, everything about this club is
Falling apart.
Falling apart just like those $300 kits. At Randy Scranny, that's your season over in January, fellas. Glad we're back to looking good football again. Clearly the fans have decided that's what we want. Another written off season made up by goals to make people feel better when achieving something. Enjoy the Ole us vibes were shit. I think it's going the other way. I mean, these odds are like updating as we're look, it's over.
It's not over. It ain't over till it's
This
over.
is inside info. I mean,
It has to be.
you're looking at a today.
God bless us, sir.
And the reason why this would move from Ole being at like what?
They met him yesterday. I guess they met him yesterday. They didn't like it. They probably didn't like him. They probably found him too.
No, they're making the social media. They're making the media kit
right now. It's
right
leaking.
now for tomorrow,
yeah.
and it's leaking, and it's Carrick. I'm going to root for Carrick, but like I outlined before, how could you think he has better experience? I think
because Sir Jim probably
they don't want to go back to Ole because they want it to be like we're smarter than that. Like they're trying to make,
they always do that. They're too clever, right?
They always try to be too
no
clever.
DCL. We're not going to sign DCL because it's too clever.
Or maybe Carrick needs it more and will be more of a yes man. But man,
Ole would be a yes. Don't worry. Ole was a yes man before.
Such a weird call. At Fairway Freddy, what is left? How deep are the depths that we will dwell in? How deep are the depths that we will dwell in? Deep, baby.
Minds of Moria.
To be thought of as an easy to play against is hurtful and shaming. These placid, mild, almost cowardly players are stealing a living. The end is nigh. Torched a whole lot. I have nothing to offer on the game. If it was me, I'd sell Euro. I'd just sell him. You want to talk about the definition of this? What he's talking about?
Why we have to go. He's 20
Letting
years
Euro,
old, bro. He's 20 years. I sell Euro. I sell Euro for what? Like cheap? What are you talking about? Okay, he's not the problem. Letting Euro is not the problem.
How many goals have gone in with his just like mashed potato challenge?
He didn't start a game for 10.
He is brutal. By the way,
who do you like?
You see any bite out of him in his first start? Sir, come on.
Martinez has looked a shadow
he has
himself.
Looked a shadow.
Dalot, by the way, you want to know what's wrong with this club? Diego Dalot is still at this club. Any serious club would have moved Diego Dalot, but he's good enough. He's an incredibly average player. He has no business in a top flight club. He is awful. He was terrible today, and the fact that he's at this club tells you everything about it.
I said right back last summer. I was like, I want.
No, we need it. By the way, I need a right back more than I need a second striker for Benjamin Sesko. Because I play Mbumo up there. I'll play Cunha. I don't care because Diego Dalot is no good. He was no good when he celebrated with AC Milan against United at Old Trafford. And he hasn't been good for 8 years. So the fact that we've just meddled along with him, he wouldn't still be at Chelsea. He wouldn't still be at City. He wouldn't still be at Arsenal. He wouldn't still be at Liverpool. That's right there. Euro still a problem, though. I agree.
Vlad Tepes 69X2. Let's go. I want to hear all about Kobe Mano, the special player who some of y'all choose over the manager. I hope to hear some criticism about his play. Look, the ARD, we show up every day, no matter what.
Day. Hard yards.
By the way, come at us. Any takes we have you don't like, get us at USA Red Devils on Twitter. Fan questions, get it in. We want to hear every opinion is valid here, and we want to hear everything. Kobe Mano. You give him one start and he's supposed to be phenomenal. He looked good coming on. That's probably why Fletch put him on. Also, Casemiro's legs were going. He needed a rest. He's got to play, but young players need minutes. To your point, Euro does need more minutes, but I just need a little more teeth out of my center backs. But Kobe Mano, did you watch the Euros? Did you watch the final for England? He looked the best player, one of the best players on the pitch. They did lose, but he was amazing. He has that level.
It's an ownership
He's not
issue,
playing
not a player
it
issue.
at it now. And yes, a coach needs to get him back to that level. But how many players in this squad played lights out in a final like that?
I
don't think he
more
should be
leniency
sacked.
for young players. It's also,
but the Amram component is Amram watches that final and says, "You're no good." Now, I disagree with that. He should at least come on in the 60th minute, right? Amram's trying to say he can't play at all and needs to be sold. I don't think that's the case, and so that's where the manager conflict comes in, which Amram took it to the extreme. Amram took it to he can never play extreme. That's the weird thing.
Well, we have a tendency to hire managers to put players under their thumb. The point is, if you're going after individual players, pick any of them. you're losing because this is a front office ownership problem. We are failing as a club.
Yes.
We have failed for a decade plus because of ownership, because of decisions they made around who they hired to run the club, and that's still continuing under Jim and Ineos. This is not about Kobe, Yoro, Ugarte, that doesn't matter. It's about the owners because they're futzing it up, making a meal of it. Even this Ole making a meal of it, whether it's Carrick, whoever. It's all there. It won't change until there's a new owner, until the debt is cleared out, until Glazers and Jim go pack and see you later.
Wow, just watching these polymarket odds on.
Okay,
but here's the deal.
Land the plane.
Wow, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer.
Oliver Glasner is now above Solskjaer.
Yes, Glasner is the next manager is above. So Solskjaer is out. Is basically what polymarket is saying, which is very interesting for the next man up for Manchester United. Nothing on Twitter so far as we're recording this podcast. But look, that's it. That's the pod. Appreciate everybody. It's a tough day. You fire Amram, he goes away, and sort of an FU. Got a bunch of people who are like, see, Amram is the man. But actually, no, United are just shit. And so we need a proper coach, whether it's going to be interim or permanent manager. We also need a proper director of football, and we need new ownership. Those are all valid points. And I hate to say it, we weren't ready for Ruben Amram because we didn't have the money or the squad for him to actually do anything at this club. And who do you blame for that? Sir Jim. Sir Jim can't fix it, and I think that's going to be the theme.
That's it. That's going to be the theme, and he was never the right manager anyway for a club like Manchester United. Let's be honest. Come on. He wasn't it. But we appreciate all you, American Red Devils. You guys are here. If you're sitting here listening to the recap of Brighton beating us in the third round of the FA Cup.
Hey, have a podcast for 9 years.
We haven't missed a game.
Watch this team every single game and then talk about it. It's like,
two kids. We had kids born, surgeries. It's like, haven't missed a pod. I haven't missed a game.
We got an FA Cup. We got an FA Cup. I could use a Champions League. You could use qualifying for the Champions League.
We got another 7 years.
But you know what? That's neither here nor there. We will go again, and we're going to travel across the pond to Arsenal. We'll get a bunch of content out. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the American Red Devils podcast, or subscribe wherever you're listening on iTunes or Spotify, YouTube. You got to comment. Let us know what we got right, what we got wrong. Put it in the comments. Hold our feet to the fire. We're not afraid, sir. We got thick skin. Growing up in New Jersey will help you through that. Give us our top 10 cities last 7 days.
Number 1, how you doing? How you doing? Chicago, Illinois, Los Angeles, California, Dublin, Ireland, Charlotte, North Carolina, Portland, Oregon, Melbourne, Australia, Oslo, Norway, Brooklyn, New York, Atlanta, Georgia, and last but not least, Manchester, England. Appreciate all the American Devils listening week in, week out. Woo, we got games coming thick and fast. We got the Derby next Sunday. We got pies to eat. We got rain to savor. We got haircuts to get. Can't wait for all those soggy fries in England. It's going to be a great time.
They're called chips, sir.
I'm aware. I know a chip. Can you look at me? I know what a chip is. But hey, we're going together. We've seen it all. We won a lot. We're Man United. We're never going to stop.